Being the fastest quarterback you've never seen. I'll be right back. There's no quicker way to get into DFS. Play Super Draft today and see for yourself.
We're behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. That will be all right.
Good morning, CTS Sports Room. Thank y'all for tuning in today. We got us a guest on today. But before we get started, I want y'all to make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with everybody on Facebook, whatever. Please get it out there. Let's get it. But today, we got a special guest. He's a Mississippi State fan. He's a content creator himself. And today, us Alabama fans, we're going to learn a little bit about Mississippi State today. So, hey, we're going to give it up for our special guest, losing weight while watching sports. Let's introduce him. Let's show him a lot of love in the comments. And let's welcome him like family.
All right, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for this game.
Yeah, man, I'm ready for the game. But before we get started, you know, the Mississippi State player just had a tragic, and we want to give a moment of silence for him. All right, guys, let's go. Let's get this stuff out. So, man, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for this game. We haven't
Yes,
been able
sir.
to play with y'all in a while. I think we can play with you today. We'll see.
I don't know. You might be. After I seen what I seen from Alabama last week, our secondary is very suspect. And I know y'all gonna throw the ball. That's what y'all like to do so much. So, man, before we get into this game, though, man, I want to pick your brain about Mississippi State, because as a Alabama fan, about other teams, we don't know a lot about, but Mississippi State is one of the teams I really don't know much about. Like I said, the most memory I have on them is Dak Prescott era. Is that time, man? I want to bring light Mississippi State. So, when was it that you began? Was it that, like, did you become a Mississippi State fan?
I went to Mississippi State in 2000. So I went there in 2000. I graduated in 2004. So I got there when Jackie Sherrill was the coach. He's an old Alabama guy. He had learned from Coach Bryant. And we were winning when I got there. We had been to matter of fact, we won the SEC West in 98. Went to Atlanta, played Tennessee close year. They won the national championship. So I got there in 2000. We were still good my first year. First year there, we beat Florida and Auburn in back-to-back weeks and got ourselves up in the top 5, and then kind of fell apart. And then after that, it was downhill. Jackie Sherrill's teams fell downhill. But they were good when I first got there. And then we were bad till we got Dan Mullen and Dak Prescott, like you said.
So you said in '98 they played for SEC championship?
Yeah, we won the West in '98 and went to Atlanta and played Tennessee. It's the year Tennessee won the national championship with T. Martin. And we were ahead of them. They ran a punt back. We ran a punt back, seems like. No, I think they ran the punt back, and they had a clear block in the back. They didn't – SEC needed Tennessee to go to the championship to make the money. And we didn't get to – we were just a little Mississippi. We didn't get – we had a great defense back there. We could run the ball, never could throw the ball. But we would beat you 10-7 type thing. And Jackie Sherrill learned from Bear Bryant. I mean, and Gene Stallings, he was kind of one of those type coaches. So we were good, and in 2000 we got ranked real high, and then we just fell apart in 2001, and by 2004 they got rid of him and brought in Sylvester Croom, who was another Alabama man.
So the time when you was at Mississippi State, can you tell me about the team then, how they were then?
Yeah, the defense was fantastic. We had Joe Lee Dunn was our defensive coordinator. He was kind of a famous – he never was a good head coach, but he was famous in the SEC for defense. He's the one that kind of invented this whole 3-5 look a lot of times, 3-3-5 look a lot of times. He would blitz you from every angle. We had a cornerback named Fred Smoot that ended up playing for Washington in the NFL. He was really good. Wayne Madkin was our quarterback. Wayne didn't make a lot of mistakes. Our most famous offensive lineman was named Pork Chop Womack. I think he played a little bit in the NFL too. So we had some good players, but we were always good on the line, defensive line and offensive line. We never had really great quarterbacks and wide receivers, but we could always play defense. And we've always been able to beat Auburn, which I know that's something that interests Alabama. I mean, we beat Auburn even when Auburn's good and we're not any good. So we usually beat Ole Miss. We never had much luck with Alabama, but if Alabama ever gets down again, we'll have a chance.
One thing I can say, my memories of Mississippi State, they always did bring a hard fought game. Like they end up on the wrong side, but they always do like bring a challenge. And defenses from Mississippi State, I do remember in the past, they always like have strong defensive linemen. Like those dudes be different. I think y'all have one in the NFL now that play for the Chiefs, I think. I forgot his name.
Yeah, we've got 2 or 3 in the NFL now. And we've had some strong defensive linemen. Our left tackle last year got drafted like number 2 or 3 in the NFL. So we've had some good offensive. The problem we've always had, which is interesting bringing Leach in, is we've never had a lot of great receivers and quarterbacks that can throw. And Leach going to the air raid, that's our defense is pretty good. I think we blitz a little bit much. That's but if we can ever get that offense going with that defense, we might have something.
And this is me with Mike Leach offense. If I was a quarterback and a receiver, a top-notch quarterback and a receiver, I'm gonna go play for Mike Leach. I'd go play for him.
I think he needs to find a quarterback that can run a little because if we can't block, our quarterback's just a sitting duck. And if you know that, I mean, who's the greatest air raid quarterback ever? Patrick Mahomes. That's what he ran at Texas Tech, and he can run. And that's what we need to find. And I think if Leach can get that aspect to it, we'll be good. As it is, Rodgers doesn't really run. So if we can't block, and we might not can block Alabama today, then he just, he'll be sacked 5 times. So I think if we could get a running quarterback to make a few plays, that can totally change the defense.
It'll keep them a whole lot honest because the thing I do see from Mississippi State defense is Will Rodgers is not a big run threat. And the run game is better. It's better this year, y'all run game, but it's still a threat. And that allows that makes y'all really like one-dimensional. But another question. This is one thing I'm interested. Has Mississippi State ever won a national championship? Have they ever won?
Not in football. The only championship we ever won was in baseball. and we won it. We won it 2 years ago, 2021. Our women's basketball team lost in the national championship twice within the last 3 or 4 years, but we have not won in football. But up until the last year, Mississippi State sports has really been on the upswing. We won the baseball, the women's basketball were good, the football's been improved. Now this past year we've kind of been flat. We've just hired a new basketball coach, but the only championship we ever won was in baseball.
Okay, yeah. Dang, so never a national championship in football. That's interesting.
No, but unlike Ole Miss, who claims they won them and really didn't. At least we don't claim it. You go to Ole Miss, they have all these national championships up there, and you look up and they lost 2 games. They weren't. That's back when everybody claimed they were national champions.
Yeah, we even got some suspect claims in national championships. So the tradition of the cowbell. How did that come about, and what year did that come about? Like, what's the reason behind the cowbell?
I'm not sure what year, but in the 30s, it was in the 1930s. Mississippi State was playing Ole Miss, and a cow randomly wandered out onto the field, and all of a sudden, and we won. We beat Ole Miss bad that day, and that's our rival. That's really the only game we care about. And so, starting after that, our students started bringing cowbells, ringing them, and it just caught on. And that was sometime in. People argue over what game it was, but it was for sure against Ole Miss, and it was in the 1930s.
Oh wow, that's fun. Speaking of Ole Miss and the Egg Bowl, whatever, who's leading that series? Like all time, who's leading that series?
Ole Miss leads it all time. They had a streak in like the 60s and 70s when we weren't very good. So Ole Miss leads us all time. But if you look over the last 20 years, it's pretty even. They beat us now 2 in a row since they got Kiffin, and I kind of wish Saban would retire and Alabama would hire Kiffin, get him out of Ole Miss. But anyway, we're probably about even now, if I had to guess, over the last 20 years. We'll both go on little streaks, but no, they're ahead of us because they dominated us sometime in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They won like 15 out of 20 or something like that.
Okay. that's fun.
But the game. If we win that game, it makes our whole season, and I think that's where we are right now with Leach. He's lost to him the last 2 years, and if he can go beat him this year, the fans are going to feel pretty good about things. If he loses to him, it's going to be a long off season.
Hey, so why do they call it Hell State? Like, how did that come about? Hell State.
Well, our fight song is Hell State. That's the name of our fight song. And so when Twitter all came along and people had to have hashtag, when I was at school, we didn't go by that. That was just our fight song. But when Twitter came along, we had to have hashtags and all. 1 year against Ole Miss, we painted hashtag Hell State in the end zone. Probably like 2013 or 14, something like that, when Twitter was just coming along. And then after that, we've been Hell State ever since. And but that's the name of our fight song. Now, we got a catchy fight song. Matter of fact, I've got a friend who's a huge Florida State fan. He said he likes our fight song better than any. But we just don't score enough to play at some games, so you might not hear it very much. But it's that's the name of our fight song. I hope you hear it a bunch today.
Let's see. As a Mississippi, just a fan, what are some of your traditions before, like not the school, but some of your traditions? What you do before a game?
Well, if I'm in Starkville, so the tailgating in the junction right there by our stadium is become fantastic. Now, when I was going there, it was just average. It really was. But now, it's really good.
And I'm going to say this. I heard this is like one of the best places to tailgate too.
It is. We stepped our game, and everybody talks about the Grove at Ole Miss. I'm not saying we're as good as them, but we're right there behind them. It really is fun. Lots of trees, so you're in the shade. And I've got a buddy who he's got a big setup right by where the team walks in, where the band comes in. The band will sit there and play for 10 or 15 minutes, and he's got TVs and all kind of food. And so I'll tailgate with him if I'm up there. If I'm home, I don't really have any traditions, to be honest. I try to watch whatever game's on before it so I don't get nervous. But if I'm at the game, you want to get there a good 2 or 3 hours before and tailgate. Unless it's 11 o'clock game. and then you might want to tailgate afterwards. But our tailgating really has improved. Anybody that goes to a game at Mississippi State will enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, that's what I will say about a lot of South teams. Like, even if you're a fan of another team, they really at the tailgates, like they really welcome you. Like, I know if you go to Alabama, you walk through that campus and it's a lot of love, like no matter who you are, man.
Yeah.
So
that has really, so I graduated in 04, so I've been gone 18 years. That has really improved in the 18 years I've been gone.
Wow. 04, I was a freshman in high school.
You making me feel old.
So what are some of Mississippi State's traditions, like as a whole, like not just football, just as a school?
You know, the cowbell is our tradition. We've historically always been a good baseball school. And so baseball way back, kind of Mississippi State and LSU built SEC baseball, and now SEC baseball dominates. But, I mean, we were good at SEC baseball back in the 60s and 70s, finally won our championship. We have built what is without a doubt the best baseball stadium in college baseball anywhere. We have probably our number one tradition. We have something called a left field lounge at our baseball stadium. And so people basically can there's all kind of grills. You cook right there in the outfield the whole game. You know, you get you a nice, pretty April or May day, and you got charcoal smoke coming up over the whole stadium. We'll literally even feed the opposing players. You know, they want a hamburger or a hot dog or whatever. So I would say of all our traditions, other than the cowbell, we're most known for the baseball team and our stadium and our left field lounge. And we literally cared about baseball when nobody else did. And now the whole conference cares about it. If you look at
everybody.
If you ever go to Mississippi State baseball, if you ever go to a baseball game, you just wander around the outfield, and it's like going to a college football tailgate's what it is. I mean, everybody's grilling, and that's probably what we're most well known for.
Yeah, I'm hoping Alabama we can step our baseball game up, man.
I don't know why Alabama's never good at. I don't know why y'all aren't good at baseball. You just don't care about it. Because I mean, you're good at basketball. I mean,
we got a good softball team.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what was your most memorable moment at Mississippi State?
It would have to be in 2014. We beat Auburn at home to get ranked number one. That's when we had Dak Prescott, Dan Mullen. Yeah, and it was probably our 6th or 7th game. And Auburn, we were like number 3, and Auburn was number 2. And we beat them at home, beat them bad. And they took us all the way to number 1. And I remember leaving the stadium thinking, why can't the season just stop? See, we're not used to being number 1 like Alabama. I was like, I don't want to go play anybody else now. But yeah, we got ranked number 1. I think we had a bye week, so we got to enjoy it. And then we went to Kentucky, and I've got a lot of friends in Kentucky, so I went to that game and we beat Kentucky. So we really got to enjoy it for 2 or 3 weeks there. I've got a lot of good memories beating Ole Miss because I mean that is the game that we care about.
That is
But no, beating Auburn to go to number 1. I thought if I lived 100 years old, I'd never see Mississippi State ranked number 1. And now we did not win the national championship, but we got ranked. We were actually, this is an interesting statistic. We were number 1 in the first ever college football playoff ranking. That was the first year they were doing the college football playoff. And we were ranked number 1 in the first ever one. That'll be a trivia question 100 years from now in Jeopardy that nobody will get. Yeah,
you'll see it on one of the games a long time ago. Like they asked you them trivia questions during the game.
Unless they're watching your show, they won't get that one.
that was the first. Yeah, my memorable moment with Alabama it's a recent one with it was Dak Prescott, and I seriously thought it was about to happen. I said, "Oh my God!" Then this when you had Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, they finally they locked up in the end. Yeah, but that year I was looking at Mississippi State was like, I know they're not about to beat us, man. Like y'all that year.
That's really the only chance we've had to beat you in the last 10 years. And our defensive coordinator and the one we have now do this. For some reason, every defensive coordinator we get just thinks with the game on the line, we should blitz 8 people. Well, that's fine if you sack him, but if you don't sack him, you got somebody wide open, and that's what happened that day. And honestly, that's what happened when we played LSU. LSU's got a running quarterback, and we would run past him, and he'd run down the field.
Yeah. I don't like LSU. I don't like LSU at all. So, who's your most favorite player at Mississippi State?
Dak Prescott, 100%. Dak is the only good quarterback. I mean, no, Dak is the only superstar quarterback we ever had in my lifetime. Now, before I was there, they probably had option quarterbacks, but as far as in my lifetime, Dak Prescott's the only superstar we've had. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, which means I usually never like Dallas, but I even root for Dallas when Dak. I mean, matter of fact, Dallas needs to put Dak in the game. They had the number one offense last year with Dak, and I think he's playing Sunday. So I even root for Dallas with Dak in there. I'm that big of a fan. And Dak comes back for stuff. Like he came to the World Series when we won the World Series and hung out with the fans that night, hung out with all of us. He's not only turned into a great player, but I think he's a good representative of the university.
Yeah, that's always nice to have. So, Dan Mullen, would you say that was your the best coach y'all probably had? Who was the best coach you think probably was?
Well, it would have to be Dan in my lifetime. Again, not going back to the
exactly.
years. It would have to be Dan Mullen or Jackie Sherrill. Jackie took us to the SEC championship game, so I'll never overlook that. Ole Miss has still not been to the SEC championship game. Jackie Sherrill always had elite defenses, so he could play in Alabama and might beat you 10-7. Mullen never would win a big, other than the year we got ranked number one. Mullen always lost the big games, but he would win the little games. He would beat Kentucky and he would beat all those teams, and he beat Arkansas. But he never really threatened Alabama other than that one time. I'm not sure that Leach doesn't have a better chance to beat Alabama than any of them, so we'll see. But when Mullen left for Florida, according to all the fans and people that know, are in the know, Mullen's just kind of a hard guy to get along with. That don't bother me if you win it. I mean, matter of fact, I think maybe that's what we need around there. So a lot of fans kind of were happy to see him go. I was not. He had a good record against Ole Miss. I wanted to keep him. I didn't blame him for going to Florida. I actually think he would have won at Florida if he'd had one more year. That got away from him fast. He nearly beat Alabama the year he got fired down there.
Yeah, sure did.
Anyway, I'm not sure that maybe if Leach ever leaves, we'll get him back. I don't know. But I was not one of the Mississippi State fans that was happy to see him go. I did not root against him at Florida because, when he got to Mississippi State, our program, we were like 3-8. And so you ought to see the facilities now, which I know some of that's SEC network, but the money, and Mullen demanded it, the money that they poured into the practice facilities and the weight rooms and the stadium. I mean, our stadium now is a real stadium. When I went to school, we didn't even have a second deck on one side. And now you go to the game, and Mullen had a lot, so I never have anything bad to say about him.
And that's what I will say. Like you saying, that they upgraded the facilities with him because he demanded it. These schools need to understand that stuff really plays a part in recruiting these kids, man. Like you have to have, because when you go to a Clemson or Alabama or these big schools, it's fancy, it's glamorous, it's almost like it's NFL level. So then a smaller school trying to recruit these kids is nothing overwhelming. It's like, Oregon has this though.
I went to the state Texas A&M game 2 or 3 weeks ago, and as I was sitting there, I was just kind of pinching myself at how just the stadium. I'm not talking about the practice facility, but the stadium. Yeah, it's not like the same place. I mean, it is a big time experience. Huge jumbotron, music, suites. I mean, it really is a big time experience. I know, the SEC networks helped all the schools, but I'm not sure it hadn't helped us the most because we was always used to getting by with just a little, and now we actually got a little money. So now we can build nice facilities.
So Dan Mullen leaves for the Florida job. What was the feeling in Mississippi State right now, at the time around there? I know you were saying something about Dan Mullen and hard got to get along, but it had to be a hard feeling.
It was for me. Now his last game he lost to Ole Miss, but our quarterback Fitzgerald got knocked out and broke his leg in the game, so you couldn't really blame Mullen. But I think we lost to Ole Miss one day and Dan Mullen was gone the next. It was that type deal. So I think a lot of the fans had resentment because one, we don't like to lose to Ole Miss, and so we're already mad. And the next day our coach leaves for another team in the SEC. So a lot of fans rooted against him. I did not because I still think he did a good job. I'd have him back tomorrow if we could get him. But I personally knew that we were about to take a step back. See, we then went and hired Joe Moorhead. A lot of the fans thought, well, Joe Moorhead's going to take us to the promised land. I knew going from Dan Mullen to Joe Moorhead wasn't going to work, and it did.
That's what I was just about to ask you about, the Joe Moorhead era. That was
Joe Moorhead did something that we all appreciate. He beat Ole Miss twice. He was 2-0 in the Egg Bowl. He was 2-0 in the Egg Bowl. Now, the second time he beat him, we luckily beat him. But either way, he was 2-0 and Leach is 0-2. But Moorhead came in there. You might not believe this, but Moorhead's first year, what would that have been like? 2019 maybe? Yeah, 2018, 2019, whatever. Yeah. We had the number one defense in the country, better than Alabama statistically. And we had Nick Fitzgerald, who was a running quarterback.
That dude was big, too.
He was big. Moorhead brought this Penn State offense in and wanted to throw the ball all the time. If we would have ran the normal Mullen offense, if Mullen would have stayed one more year, I believe he's 10-2, 11-1. Maybe we lose to Alabama. I mean, that team was that good, and Moorhead totally blew it. And he would go out there and try to throw these passes that our quarterback couldn't throw. And I think we went 8-4, which sounds like a good season. That's the worst that I could have coached the team. At worst, we'd have went 8-4. That's just how good the team was and how bad we performed.
I will say about Dan Mullen, he's a good quarterback coach. He know how, what made me realize he was really good was we know about the Tim Tebow era. He had Dak Prescott, but when he was at Florida and he went from Felipe Franks to Kyle Trask, how he was able to convert the offense to complement Kyle Trask. I said, yeah, he the real deal at working with quarterbacks, man.
He is a great quarterback coach. He was Tim Tebow's quarterback coach. So he was he came up under Urban Meyer, and he's not that great of a recruiter, which at Mississippi State we never recruit great anyway. We had to develop our players.
I think that was a problem he had at Florida too.
It was. I think that was his problem, and I think he's just everybody. I have never met him. I met all our other coaches, but I never met Dan Mullen. But everybody says he's just kind of a hard guy. He's from Maine, and not that there's anything wrong being from Maine, but I don't know if maybe that just doesn't fit in Mississippi and Florida, and he wants it. It's kind of his way or the highway, which I think works at first, but over time, if you're not winning, that starts getting on people's nerves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Mike Leach, how did y'all find Mike Leach coming into the program?
I liked it. I never thought Mike Leach was going to win us championships. I didn't think that then. I don't think it now. But here is what I thought. I thought to myself, and I hate to say this because you're an Alabama fan, as is my brother. I thought to myself, we can beat Alabama the way we're doing it now. Maybe if we get Leach in here, we'll beat them one time. Maybe we'll just have a good team where we can throw the ball and beat them. So, because we weren't going to beat them with Moorhead, and we wasn't going to beat them with Mullen. And so I do not think that Leach's system will work well enough in the SEC to go win championships unless he gets a running quarterback. He won't do that. If you think back, Texas Tech ran his system with Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback we ever seen. And he can run. I feel like that's what we need, but Leach does not have that. The thing about him, he'll go out. Well, this year we beat Texas A&M and Arkansas back to back. Both games 40-10 type games. And then last week we went to Kentucky, and I think Kentucky's average. They're not bad. And we couldn't get a first down. And so he'll just have games where he can't do anything. Now, I actually think we're going to move it on you today because usually he don't have two bad games in a row like that. It's almost like something goes haywire and he has to fix it. So we'll see. But anyway, he's got to beat Ole Miss. He's lost to them twice. They're excited. They got Kiffin having a good season. Now we got to play Georgia after you in a week or two. So we got really a bad schedule. We got Alabama and Georgia. Unless if he beats Alabama or Georgia, he can lose to Ole Miss. Nobody will care. But assuming he loses this game, he's going to have to beat Ole Miss, or the fans are going to start jumping off the bandwagon.
Man. So y'all lose this game, y'all lose the Georgia. I'm just saying if y'all lose the Ole Miss, you think Mike Leach is as what do you thought?
If he loses to Ole Miss, if he's 7-5 and loses to Ole Miss, I think there's a 50-50 chance. I can't predict what our athletic director John Cohen would do. The fans are not excited about Leach. I'm more excited than the fans. I'll give you an example. I went to the Texas A&M game in Starkville. It was a beautiful day, 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, 3 o'clock kickoff. And we had 10,000 empty seats. And so that's what I'm saying. The fans are not excited. I think if he beats Ole Miss, goes 8-4 and beats them, I think the fans will jump back off. But I think if he loses to them, whether we keep him or not, I would keep him myself. But I'm saying the university, they're looking at that stadium and it's not sold out and all that type of stuff. They might make a change. Our athletic director has shown he'll make a change pretty quickly when he wants to. And so we'll see.
And you kind of hit on it earlier about like Florida didn't give hold on. We were talking about Dan Mullen not having a long enough time. That's my knock on college football. And this is why I kind of say Saban, he ruined it for college football because Saban, man, when I say 2009, he won the national championship. So with a lot of programs across the country, that brings a lot of impatience. Like you have to give these coaches time to again implement. Like it takes time. Right. And I'm gonna use Jim Harbaugh at Michigan for an example. That gave him time at Michigan. Like I know they was flirting with the thought of let's get rid of him, and he was flirting with the thought of going somewhere else. But last year he got him into the college football playoffs for the first time, and since the playoff era, and it just shows that it takes time with any coach. I don't care who they are. It might happen fast with some coaches, but the coach is not going to have it as fast. So you got to give these coaches time, man.
The worst thing that happened to Mike Leach, assuming he loses to Ole Miss, is Lane Kiffin being at Ole Miss. Because I think Kiffin came the same year Leach did. And Kiffin's done been to the Sugar Bowl. And if he beats us this year, he will have beat us 3 years in a row. That's the part that the fans are going to be up to. Yeah. It's not losing to Alabama or Arkansas. It's going to be the fact that he came the same time as Kiffin, and Kiffin's winning, and we're just going to the average bowl.
Like I use Auburn for an example with the same thing. Like they parted ways with Gus, but Gus was beating Alabama here and now and then. But my thing is, when you get rid of a coach, realistically, you got to think realistically, who can I really go and get right now if I get rid of him? And with Auburn, they went and got Brian Harsin. That wasn't a great swap at all to me.
Yeah. I will say this. I think Leach's system will work if he gets a quarterback that can run a little. Yes, I don't mean he's got to run every play. Yes. I think when I watch State, we can't move the ball when the other team gets pressure on us. So we need somebody who can run just enough that they can escape that pressure. It changes the whole defense. Look, last week when you played Tennessee, you couldn't defend them the way you could if that quarterback couldn't run. No. And that, to me, if Leach can get that person, I think his stuff will work. If he can't find that person, then I think we're 7-5 every year. And and look, Mississippi State fans will accept 7-5 if we beat Ole Miss. But if we don't beat Ole Miss, we won't accept it. It really is that simple.
But like I said, I just told you that if I was a top-notch quarterback and top-notch, I would be dying to go play for Mike Leach. I don't care because I know he's going to throw the ball. If I'm a quarterback, I'm going to throw the ball, and if I'm a receiver, he's going to throw it to me. So I'll be dying. If I'm a 5-star, I'm going. Wherever Mike Leach at, I'm going.
Well, and he's getting some kids. I mean, he's getting some boys that can do that. We've got a couple of speedsters on this team, and I think Will Rodgers is good. But our quarterback, you watch him today against Alabama, he always chooses the check down play. Sometimes you got to throw the ball 40 yards to extend that defense.
Yes.
Watch him. He will throw the little 5-yard passes, and that's well and good. But against look, you played Tennessee last week. How many big passes did they hit? At some point, you got to hit some big plays, and that's the weakness in this offense.
Whew, yeah. Today will be the day for Mississippi State to try that because I'm not confident in our secondary right now, in our safeties, but we're gonna switch it up. Now we're about to go into today's game. But before that, hey, plug yourself in. Let them know where they can come see you at, where they can come find you at, man.
Yeah. So I just started a YouTube channel about a month ago, and it's called Losing Weight, Watching Sports. And because that's exactly what I did. When the COVID hit, I weighed 270 pounds, and I lost 50 pounds. And I was living in New Orleans, and the gym at my building was closed and all. There was nowhere to work out whatsoever. So I literally laid on the couch, watched the sports, and lost 50 pounds because I did the keto diet. And so I've always loved the sports. I didn't work out at all. I started a channel. My favorite teams are Mississippi State, the New Orleans Saints, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Of course, the Cardinals already lost. They're out. But anyway, I do my reaction to that, and then I'm going to get a little bit into how I lost the weight, basically by laying on the couch and watching the sports at some time. So you can find me over there. I just started this channel about a month ago.
That's crazy. And he doing good over there too. Like 4 months ago, he's doing good. So hey, everybody over here, y'all go over there and subscribe to this channel. Make sure y'all like all his videos, watch them, help him get the watch time up. And I see 10 people in the chat right now. Let's get 10 right now. Let's get 10 likes. But now,
yeah, and you know, some Alabama fans like the Saints, New Orleans Saints. So that's come over there to my channel if you do that.
Saints football. Who that? So let's talk about today's game.
Junior Ray is right. We do have a quarterback behind Rodgers that I think is going to be a runner. Whenever next year, whenever we put him in, so that'll be maybe that'll be when we start. That offense starts working.
Yeah. Like with the offense he runs, like I say, you need something else to keep that defense honest, man. Because like you said, Will Rodgers is not mobile, and you basically know what's coming with him. So,
my brother is a big Alabama fan. He's trying to get in. I'm sending him the link. So sorry, I'm checking my phone, but he
that's okay.
He loves Alabama. And he couldn't get in, so I'm sending him the link right now. So,
okay.
All right, I sent it to you. There we go.
All right. So let's talk about it today. Well, after coming off a loss from Kentucky, what are some of the things that you want to see Mississippi State correct today?
Believe it or not, Mississippi State only wins this season when we run the ball. And I know we're an air raid team. That may sound hard to believe, but we ran the ball against Arkansas and Texas A&M for more than 100 yards. We've got to run it some. So we also got to block Alabama. If we can defend a 3 or 4 man rush, we're usually good. The problem is, like Kentucky last week, they were getting pressure on us rushing 4. They weren't having a blitz. And that's typically what Alabama does because your defensive line is good. So what I want to see is, can we protect if you're not blitzing? If we can score. And I want to see, can we run the ball a little? Dylan Johnson got hurt last week against Kentucky. I think he's back today. I'm not sure. But, we probably need to rush for 75 yards to give us a chance, to be honest. If we can do that, keep Alabama off base a little bit. And I want to see us hit a big play or two. Tennessee hit big plays all over you. I don't think Texas A&M's any good, and they played you tough. We've got some speedsters on our team. Also, I know the name of your podcast is Special Teams. We have got a kick returner, Tulu Griffin's his name. He's as good as anybody in the country. He is fast. But we've been missing extra points. It's really so our special teams are hit and miss. But I mean, for us to beat Alabama today, we need a kick return. We need to hit 2 or 3 big plays. And then on defense, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. is our cornerback. He has got more touchdown returns for interceptions than I think anybody ever played in the SEC, if I remember. One more, he'll set that. He's number 13. You might not have heard of him.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. No, I know you're talking about.
I'm sure he'll be on your best receiver. He is good. He's elite. And so for us to beat Alabama, we probably need him to intercept one, maybe run a kickback and see what happens.
Yeah. I know me. For me, it's a whole list of stuff over here. Our pass rush. Last week, our pass rush, I don't know where they were, but they were not present at all. And with the quarterback like Will Rodgers is like the third ball, we're gonna have to put pressure on them, because if not, like any other quarterback, they're gonna sit back there and pick us apart. And our secondary is our weaknesses. And if we don't get pressure on him, he's gonna pick on our secondary. Our D-line, our D-line gonna have to get to him, because we run a package called a cheetah package. That's when we have like 3 of our best edge rushers out there. Last week we were running the cheetah package, and we had 2 of our best rushers dropping back in coverage. I don't understand why in the world would you have them on the field dropping back in coverage when they haven't been doing that. That doesn't make sense. And that goes back for me is coaching. Like coaching, they're gonna have to get it together over there on that defense.
The good news for you is we are not a big play offense, even though we're the air raid. Even when we're beating Arkansas and A&M, it's 5 and 10 yards at a time. But we're going to have to make big plays today. But here's where I am with Mississippi State. Every team in the West has either beat y'all or played you tough in the last 3 or 4 years, except for us. So a lot of times we go over there with the loser's mentality. Oh, Alabama's going to kill us. No, I want us to go over there today to win. And why do I say that? Auburn's terrible. They played you close last year. Texas A&M's not any good. They played you close. Arkansas played you close a time or two. LSU wasn't any good last year and played you close. So even if we lose today, I want to see Mississippi State go over there and show some fight. And usually against Alabama, we lay down. So that's what I want to see today.
And I will say this in y'all defense, that these last couple of years we've been ending some streaks, like with the head coach, but like head coaches beating Nick Saban. That was ended last year. Tennessee just ended a 16-year-old streak. So hey, it might be in y'all favor today. You never know.
Do you want to know something I heard? This is one reason Alabama always kills us. You have only lost. I think you've only lost 9 regular season games in the last 10 or 11 years. 5 times we've been your opponent the week after. In other words, every time you lose, we your next team. So Saban gets the team totally focused. And here we are again. You lost to Tennessee. By the way, I had bet Alabama, so I was rooting for y'all last week. You should have ran the ball there at the end and took the time off, and you could have kicked the field goal with no time. And the worst you do is overtime.
That was another point I was about to bring up. Time of possession. Let's control this clock, man. Let's control the clock. We got to. Because I will say he was passing the ball, and it was a key drop that it was to Gibbs, our running back. He normally makes it, but that's not even the point. He should have been running the ball to get the clock down to basically nothing, so they can't have time, because they got the ball back with seconds on the clock, and they got a field goal range in 2 plays. That is crazy. That is so crazy.
But you blocked that last kick and it still went through. So, I mean, that was unbelievable. But I want to see
those angels in the
Mississippi State. I know this Alabama channel. We don't have many Mississippi State fans.
Go ahead.
But every time against Alabama, we just lay down. I don't want to see that today. Go over there and try to win. Because I agree with you. Your second Texas A&M's no good. Texas, I don't think is very good, and they played you close. Now I'm not saying we're gonna beat Alabama, but I'm sick and tired of getting beat 40-0. And that's what today is the day, Mike Leach, to go over there. Let's put some points on the board.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, I love Alabama, but I love football, and I love to see competitive football. Now, during the moment, I might not like it, but when you go back and watch it, I love to see the competitive football game, man.
On defense, this is simple. If you can get pressure on Rodgers with 3 or 4 rushers, we can't win. You'll beat us. But just look for that early in the game. If you see that Saban's having to blitz somebody to get killed, that's not good. He can find the open man in that situation.
And that's another point. I want our defensive line have to make that push, man. We have to make that push, because them dudes are big enough and they're strong enough to be able to really get their width for. And we use two of our defensive lines as edge rushers, so we should be able to get home with that, man.
Yeah, and you very well might. That's why Leach has got to hit a few runs. He's got a little draw play that he runs that he'll get 10 or 15 yards running. But really, this could come. I mean, we need to run a kickback on y'all. And I'm telling you, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., you look for him, that cornerback. He is good. He ran one back last week. He blocked the field goal against A&M. And he's an all-around good player. So for us to win, we probably need a pick six.
But I'm gonna tell you what I do respect about y'all offense. Y'all use like a little pass play, just a small pass play, to get 2 or 3 yards, and that'll compliment as a run. That's what I do respect about the offense. Like how y'all do it.
I have watched him enough now. If he can block a 4-man rush, all his plays will work. It's like every play Leach has will work. If he can't block it, none of them work. I mean, we never play halfway good. We either play great or we play terrible. And you can figure it out in the first quarter of the game.
Yeah. Yep. Mike Lee. That dude's awesome, man. I like that dude. So another thing, you was talking about our cornerback. He's going back. He's probably going to be on the best receiver. My thing is, I don't think we have a best receiver yet. I haven't seen a best receiver. I've seen somebody that's been making catches, but the best receivers I feel like are our young dudes, Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice. Those are our best receivers right now. But as far as a solid number one, we don't have a solid number. I haven't seen a solid number one yet. And today is the game. I think Tyler Harrell is supposed to be. He's supposed to step on the field for the first time today. I think he's the transfer from Louisville, and he has like 4.2 speed or whatever. So I want to see him get out there and see if he's all of what he's hyped about, or is he just a myth? Is he catfishing us or no? Because at this point, I stopped believing in him because I never seen him. But he's supposed to come back today from injury.
So does your kicker routinely kick it in the end zone? Because if not, we got a kick returner that can put 7 on you. I mean, really, and for us to beat Alabama, we need to score that way. So how good is your kicker?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He usually puts it back there. But like you was talking about,
I'd bring it out even if he did. We got a better chance.
But like you were saying it too about the field goal kickers, like y'all field goal kicker has been missing. The last 2 games I was been doing it too, man. And he's usually spot on.
We've been missing extra points, but then we'll make a 48-yarder. And then our punter's been outstanding. First of all, we're using 2 punters, which I don't think makes a lot of sense. They've both been good. Then last week against Kentucky, the game's on the line, we hit like a 4-yard punt. So our special teams, for the most part, has been very good. But we're either great or terrible. I mean, one or the other. And but our kick return is very, very good.
Yeah. So, do you have any score predictions for today?
I think that Leach needs to go over there. So, and watching Alabama, I watched y'all play Texas. I don't think Texas is that good, and y'all really barely beat them. And I watched you play A&M. I don't think A&M's any good. So I want us to be competitive in the game. If we're not competitive, then there's nothing else matters till we play Ole Miss. But he needs to be. I'm tired of going over there and getting beat. If we can block you, I agree with you. Your secondary is not strong. I'm going to assume we either score on defense or kick return. I'm going to say we're going to get to 24. I'm going to say you may get to 30. So I would say Alabama 30, Mississippi State 24, but I think we're going to have a chance to win. I really do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done with the score predictions, man. They've been hurting my feelings. I just want to see a ball penalty-free. I know it's not going to be penalty-free football, but we got to clean up on our penalties, man. But
yeah. I have never seen a Nick Saban team have penalties like you did last week.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And now I think some of the penalties were kind of suspect, but my gripe last week was not against Alabama. It was what they wasn't calling on them. They wasn't calling a lot of stuff because I know Bryce Young was getting targeted. I feel like a couple plays he got targeted. It was one play. I know the DB he wrapped around our wide receiver's neck before the ball got there. It was actually it's a clip on YouTube where you see the referee, but they reviewed it.
Oh, I saw that. He did like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my
Well,
God.
Having played Alabama for many years, we always feel like Alabama gets all the calls, so we're not feeling sorry, y'all.
Hey, but even with you saying that, I say this. People say that, but I still be seeing that like, no, they should have called that on Alabama because they don't call a lot of stuff on Alabama still. Like, so I do agree. I do agree.
Well, here's why I think we can beat you. And most Mississippi State fans don't think we can beat you, but here's why I think we're just as good as that Auburn team that played you close last year. Mm-hmm. I think we're just as good as that Texas A&M team that played you close a week or two ago. So that's why I'm saying if we lose, I don't want to hear all these excuses.
Yeah, but you know, that's what I be telling Alabama fans. They be talking about, well, what's Mississippi State? I said, y'all got Mississippi State. They don't look the same as they've been looking. They look really good this year. Like they look way better than they've been looking this year. So don't.
But you must not have. You didn't watch us play Kentucky. We did not. We did not.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I've been so wrapped up in watching our game over. I just really got to watching y'all game this morning, and y'all didn't look like the.
Well, let me tell you, it's interesting you're talking about penalties. So I heard this on a Mississippi State podcast. We only had 2 possessions last week where we didn't have an offensive penalty. In other words, a false start, a holding. Only 2. And both times we scored touchdowns. Every single other drive, we either false started or had a holding. That shows you Leach can't. We're a small play offense. I mean, if he's only got to go 10 yards, he can go 10 yards. But if we got to go 15, that's tough for him. And so today we cannot have those type penalties. I mean, we just can't have them.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. And to both of us on those penalties, we got to control what we can control. Like you said, no false start, no offsides, no illegal formation type stuff. We can control that. As both of us teams, they have to learn to control that, man. They have to learn to control that.
When do you play Ole Miss?
I can't remember. I know it's after LSU. I can't remember the dates exactly, but I know it's after LSU. I know it's after LSU.
So you're gonna have to beat them to make it ladder.
Yeah, man. And that's what I be telling people. That like this schedule is hard this year, man. Like you know, these teams play Alabama lights out. Like teams just give up and play Alabama. So when we play LSU, I'm expecting LSU to come fight us to the end like they always do. They always play us good.
So Ray Wilkes predicts Alabama 34-10. If Leach only scores 10 points today, get rid of him. Get rid of him. That's the way I feel about it. If we don't score for 10 points today, because don't you agree your defense is weaker than you normally are?
Oh, they don't look the same. They don't scare nobody anymore. They do not intimidate nobody no more.
If we don't score but 10 points today, get rid of him. Remember, you hired Mike Leach to score points. So if you lose, you at least want to lose, 45-35. 10 points, no, get rid of him.
Yeah, like Mike Leach got that's why I respect Mike Leach so much, because he's sticking to his guns. He gonna throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. I'm gonna throw the ball. He's sticking to it. He ain't nothing finna change that. Yeah. But he needs like you were saying, a quarterback that can run a little bit, beef up that run game just a little bit. That'll take Mississippi State over the top. I'm telling you, that right there.
Everything. That'll change everything. So people who are familiar with that air raid say that Leach does not like the idea of running the quarterback. But when you look, the teams that are successful with it, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what scares you about him? He could take off and run. I mean,
take off and run.
Yeah, a lot of Leach's proteges that came under him have added the running quarterback to their repertoire with that air raid. And I think that's what Leach needs. I think if he adds that one thing, we're going to go from a 7-5 team to a 9-3 team.
Yeah, I see that. I can say easy, honestly. I really honestly see that, man. Hey, I was wondering.
Most offenses in Mississippi at the high school level run that running quarterback spread type system. So we should be able to go find one.
Mm. So, who are some of the top prospects that y'all plan on having that has committed to Mississippi State that you know of?
I was here the other day. I don't get into the recruiting as much, all their names,
Okay.
but right now we're predicted like 25th or something. We do have a quarterback coming in, got a good wide receiver, but I think our next quarterback's on the team right now. I mean, I think he's on the team right now. He can't run.
What's his name? Sawyer? Something
Sawyer,
like that?
is it Robinson?
Sawyer.
I think it's Sawyer. I think it's Sawyer Robinson, but let me look.
Yeah, okay.
I may have the wrong name there. Yeah, Sawyer Robinson, redshirt freshman. But everybody says he can run a little as well. He can throw. But, I mean, he's 6'4", so, I mean, that's probably our future. But, I mean, right now, Will Rodgers, you can't take Will out. I mean, he's playing too good.
Nah, he playing good. Yeah.
We play East Tennessee State towards the end. Maybe we get Sawyer in there then and see what he looks like.
My cousin goes to this school. I think that was the school that beat Vanderbilt last year. I know one of those schools on that level. They did. Yeah. My cousin goes to those. Yeah. They beat them last year. He plays for them.
So what? You're not gonna predict the score?
No, I'm gonna give you one. Mine is 38-24.
So you think we are gonna score some? So you agree?
Oh yeah,
not enough.
Yeah, unless we done made some big changes in our secondary. I'm just not confident in our secondary right now. We have the players to play back there, but DeMarco Hellams number 2 last year, that was getting beat last game against Tennessee. He had no business back there being matched up on Hyatt. And going back to the coaches, they did not make any adjustments to that. So
what shocked me in the Tennessee game is Tennessee's boys were wide open.
Wide open.
Now, the last play, the Tennessee guy made a good catch, but for the most of the game, they were wide open.
But that's been like the trend for the last 2 or 3 years, where he was being wide open, and I'm not getting that.
I agree. That's why I think today State needs to score some. Even if we lose, let's score some points. Mississippi State, a lot of our fans just have the mentality of, well, we can't beat Alabama. Well, I don't want to go over there thinking like that. Let's go over there thinking we're going to beat them.
Think win. Think win. Yeah, I'm an Alabama fan, but I like to see the competitors. Do I think Mississippi State will win today? I don't think so, because we're coming off a loss. But like I said, the secondary is that's my biggest concern right now, man. And to me, Henry To'oTo'o, our linebacker, I'm not the biggest fan of him at all. To me, he's really soft, and like you said, if y'all gonna run, at least get like 75 yards plus, at least 75 though. They can really change the dynamic of the game right there, man.
Yeah,
Mississippi
State.
I
will tell you, at halftime, if we're moving the ball, we'll be able to move it all day. And that's just the thing about Leach's system. It's either feast or famine. So you'll know early in the game. Let's say the first drive we go right down our field but fumble or something. You're going to be in trouble, because if he can move it, he can move it all day.
One thing about Mike Jalik, his philosophy is he feel like somebody is always. I like that, man. He feel like everybody's always open. Yeah. Somebody is always open if they can block with that. That's exactly right. Yeah, I like that philosophy. So, man, we about to wrap this thing up. I thank you so much for coming on, man. Again, plug yourself in. Channel
especially if you want to lose weight and watch sports. That's pretty, it's not a bad thing. It's called Losing Weight, Watching Sports. You can find me there. And I do Mississippi State, the New Orleans Saints, and the St. Louis Cardinals, but they already got beat.
Hey, but you got the New Orleans Saints still. So hey, y'all go to. I know we got some New Orleans Saints fans that watch this. I'm a Buccaneers fan myself. Go Bucks, but hey,
we'll get you when Tom Brady retired.
Hey, but that's what people ask me when Tom Brady came. They were like, "Are you a Bucks fan because of Tom Brady?" I've been a Bucks fan since a little kid. Like Mike Allstott is my favorite player. That is my favorite player. My favorite linebacker is Derrick Brooks. So
yeah, you go way back with him.
yes, I'm telling you, and I was a kid. I don't even like a lot of people like the Falcons in my area, but it's just I liked it. I liked the Tampa Bay. I liked what they did on offense and defense. I just liked them. Like I said, Mike Allstott, my favorite player.
But we can all agree on hating the Falcons.
Oh yeah, can't stand them. Don't like them. But y'all, I see 13 in the chat. Y'all, let's get 13 likes so far, and we're about to wrap up the show. I want to thank everybody in the chat that came out and showed support, and thank you again so much for coming and do this interview, man. Like I said, I just wanted to highlight Mississippi State, bring light to them, man, because as a Bama fan, I know much about them, but I know a lot more today. So, man, I thank you so much. And CTS Sports Room, make sure y'all tune in to Kangaroo Black on YouTube. We do a show on Tuesday nights called the Bama Tar Rolling with the Tide. We do a show on Thursday night called the Bama Smoke. Then we have a new Wednesday night. I think it's going to be called Football University with former Alabama player Matt Caddell. He's going to be doing their show. He's going to be talking about X's and O's. Follow Losing Weight While Watching Sports. Y'all go over there and go show him some love. Make sure y'all like his videos. Watch the videos all the way through. This show right here, the Special Teams Podcast, Saturday morning from 11 to 12, right before football starts. So y'all, thank y'all for coming in. I see 15 in the chat. Let's get 15 likes in. Y'all, we'll see y'all next Tuesday night. So peace out. Roll Tide. Go Hail State.
Hail State. And who dat?